Okay, using the procedures that you can find here on YouTube, we remove the fuel tank. There it is. So the next step is going to be to drain it. It's probably got to have a tank of fuel, and I'm going to try something, and if it works, I will explain it in just a minute. Okay, what I'm thinking about doing, let's turn this tank up. Removing the quick connect, sliding the hose over, and then draining into the lawnmower gas can. Alright, this gravity feed idea isn't working because apparently nothing flows out of the pump without it running. So now I'm getting a harebrained idea. Put the tank back on the bike with the hose, cycle the pump with the key, and pump it out. Alright, guess we'll see if we cause an Exxon Valdez spill here, or if this actually works. Stay tuned. Attempt number 3. Okay, I had to take the top part off so that I could get the hose down into the fuel. And then a couple of pumps, and it's working. I've drawn a lot of the fuel out of the tank. There's still a residual amount in there. I think I can get it out once we get the fuel pump out. So next process is to remove the fuel pump, take out these screws. You have to discard them because they're one-time use only. So I had gone to the dealer yesterday, bought a new sealing ring and 5 new screws. So we'll get that done. We're drawing out some more fuel because it leaked out once I took the pump loose. But we have the tube here ready to go, so we should have it all done now. The sock is indeed dirty. The fuel didn't come out yucky. So sure, I understand what's going on here, but nonetheless, the pre-filter is looks like it's pretty plugged up. This is the original OEM strainer, and I ended up buying a new one. There it is right there. But the reason why is you can see a bunch of little holes in the fabric. And it turns out that the new one has these as well. You can see them there. But it's good to start off with a new one anyway. When I was cleaning this, I was spraying carburetor cleaner, and it was going right through it. So I don't think this one is plugged, but it's going to be good to start off with a new one anyway. The part number is right there. So, be reassembling this pump now. I did put the little white spacer on it. The difference is this is a barbed connection. This is a straight port. I'll show you a picture. Shows you the difference in the ports. According to Quantum, this should not be an issue. So we're going to give it a try. I got the spacer on there. It took quite a bit of force to get it on there, and I think it'll need tools to get it off. But as long as it holds the proper spacing for where it goes into the actual port, I think we'll be okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start assembling. Slide the pump in. Aligns with the cutouts in the plastic. Okay, using the old one as a guide, it slides into this pocket and then slides horizontally onto that port. So let's see if we can get the new one on. Slide it into that pocket. And then this is going to bend. We are going to try something with grease. See if we can lube that this part here. Alright, I'm going to make an explanation of how I got this pump back together. From previous part of the video, I was trying to put the pump screen here onto the pump without having the rest of this put together. It's very, very difficult to hold the pump from this end up here and push this on. So what I decided to do is clip all this back together again so that this would actually hold the pump inside the housing so that I could actually get this filter back on. Alright, the toughest part about this entire fuel pump fix is in fact this inlet screen here. So let me explain how I first got it apart, because this does not pull off of the pump very easily. Just to give you an example, this is what we're dealing with. This is the port that this fits on, and you can see this is on an angle right here. It slides on, this little post here orients it. Now to get this on and off is rather difficult given the circumstances that you have with this assembly. Now, see if I can show real quick here. The best way to get this off for anybody who wants to do this is to put a screwdriver between this plastic plate and this plastic part here and twist. Wedge it off, you'll twist it, it'll move that way, wedge here, it'll move back, and you'll just work itself out. Now the only way I was able to do that is by soaking the joint here, right down in here, with some WD-40. I could not wedge this off dry or with just gasoline in there. So by putting WD-40, letting it sit overnight, I was able to wedge this off, alternating side to side. Okay, that's how I got it off. Everything else comes apart very, very easily. It's just basic clips. Okay, little C-clip. Okay, so the rest of it comes apart pretty easily. It also goes back together pretty easy. Now, how to get this back on? If you can see here, the biggest problem I had was you have plastic all around here. You're trying to get this on with this weird shape, push straight on to the pump. And that's just a straight port. It's as cast. You got this tight ring here to hold it in place. There's the pin that orients it. So what you've got to do is you've got to be able to push straight in. If you push over here, it'll cock this way. If you push over here, it cocks this way. There's no good surface to push against, like with a socket or with a tube or anything like that. There's nothing straightforward. So how did I get this back on? What I did was I put white grease around this nipple and on the inside of the filter to make it slippery. I was able to push it on to get it started on. You can see the chamfer. There's a chamfer on this as well. So I got it lined up, and then by pushing down on a surface straight down, I was able to get it to clip in. That was the only way I could do it. I tried probably 30 different ways to get this to go on. Wedging it, trying to use sockets, trying to use pry bars, whatever I could try to get. And the worst I could do was, instead of pushing this on, I would pull this plastic off. So the only way this was able to work is with the grease and then pushing straight down. Okay, now I'm ready to start the rest of the assembly, getting it back in the tank. All right, the fuel pump's in. I've got 5 new screws, just to let you know. That's the part number. So these are the proper screws. Anyway, these need to be torqued 40 to 49 inch-pounds. So I had to buy a new torque wrench for it. Set it to 45, and I'm going to torque those down. The reason why you have to use new ones is because of the Loctite patch they have on it. It's some kind of a pink locking Loctite instead of red or blue. So I'm not sure what that patch does, but it's probably the reason why you have to use these, because they're not torqued enough to mess up the threads, but the seal is what they're after. So they do go through the tank. So I'll get the torque. Alright, while I had the tank off, I went ahead and cleaned out my air box, removed the old filter. Filter was quite big. It has a lot of dirt, sand, and gravel bits. Everybody's probably heard how the Pan America does their clean air box backwards. What they're referring to is, this is the new one, the air filter goes on the inlet, and then the box is all clean air. So we're using the inside of the filter to do the filtering, which there's no problem with that. The snorkel does go down just above, looks like the horn. So while this was off, I'm going to change the filter, put the new one on, and I vacuumed this entire box out, clean the snorkel, and put it all back together again. So start off with a fresh filter, and we'll go from there. Well, I got the tank back on, and the seat and all that. I poured gasoline in it to check for leaks. Everything seems to be okay. I did start it already, and I'm absolutely surprised at how quiet this pump is. Check this out.